Do you ever have those mornings where everything just feels out of place? You can't find your keys, your phone, your shoes, and you're just rushing to get out the door and there's no time for a healthy breakfast? I feel you. That is me most mornings. So today I am preparing 3 new recipes that are going to be for Make Ahead Vegan Breakfast that will make those busy weekday mornings a breeze. First up, we're making breakfast burritos, so I've got all my ingredients laid out. Got tortillas, black beans, mushrooms, potatoes, onions, garlic, bell pepper, tomatoes, and some spices. I really prefer to have a savory breakfast as opposed to a sweet one. I've never been a person who really liked oatmeal for breakfast. I do like smoothies, but a smoothie just doesn't fill me up. I know that I need something else in that. I tend to default to, what your stereotypical millennial breakfast is, the avocado toast, because it's delicious. And there's a couple ways I can change it up. Sometimes I'll do hummus, or I'll do tahini, or I'll use a bagel if I'm feeling fancy. And I do all sorts of seeds and, chia seeds, flax seeds, bagel spice, chili pepper. I can make it fun and spice it up, but that's pretty much what I have every day of the week because I can make it in less than 5 minutes. And it actually keeps me full until lunch. So while I love that breakfast and I'm not walking away from it anytime soon, I wanted to add some other things into the mix to give myself a little bit of a variety and have, just lots of nutritious options. Alright, now that the potatoes are all chopped up, I need to get them into the oven. The recipe calls for roasting them at 400 degrees using parchment paper, but I like to use these silicone baking mats. It's a reusable option and I like it because it's more sustainable. Alright, so for these burritos, it's calling for cumin seed, paprika, onion powder. I'm going to use garlic powder because that's what I have and I think it'll taste good. But, whatever spices the mood strikes you with, that's what you can do. I'm also going to add some chili powder. That wasn't really part of the recipe, but I feel like it is a good fit. And salt and pepper. Alright, and I'll see how I feel about how these potatoes look once they get on the baking sheet. I may even add more spices. I love seasoned potatoes. Alright. Now let's flatten them out. I'm going to flatten the potatoes out to make a single layer on my baking sheets. Roast it up evenly and get nice and crispy. It actually looks pretty good on spice, but we're here, right? So let's do it up. Okay, time for these to go in the oven. while these veggies are starting to cook down and soften, I'm going to get my tomatoes chopped up and my garlic so I can add that in. I'm really excited about this recipe. Taco night is basically one of my favorite nights of the week for dinner. I just love the flavors. For me, I love a good savory meal. And I just love the way all the flavors together, the cumin, garlic, and chili powder come together. It's delicious. And it's always good when I take my leftovers the next day, make a bowl to take for lunch at work. That's even just as delicious. So that's how I know that this is going to work as a freezer meal, because I know it's something that once cooked and reheated still tastes good. Oh, and I don't think I've said yet, I will link this recipe below. I'm doubling the recipe because I figured while I'm in the kitchen, getting all these pots and pans dirty, working hard, taking time that I could be spending doing something else, I want to get, essentially like as much bang for my buck. I want to get as many meals out of this as I can for the time that I'm spending in the kitchen. So I decided to double this recipe. In doubling the recipe, my plan is really that some will be able to go right into the fridge and be used this week. Others I will wrap in a layer of parchment paper or tin foil and then put in a freezer bag to be used in the future. And that just saves my future self a little bit of time. So I'm having those crazy mornings where nothing's going right. I can just grab a burrito out of the freezer, throw it in the microwave, and be on my way. The other reason I thought a burrito as a breakfast meal would work really well is that a burrito kind of is its own container. The avocado toast that I normally eat for breakfast works well enough as a meal on the go, but I'm thinking a burrito would be that much easier. Ooh, you can already see those mushrooms and everything cooking down, releasing that good umami flavor. Some of the tomatoes. The liquid in here is going to help release anything that's sort of sticking to the bottom of the pan. Okay, that looks beautiful. Super pumped about that. That is our reminder to check the potatoes. Oh, that one was soft. That one's still a little firm. Okay. So I'm going to give it maybe 5 to 10 more minutes. Official taste tester. That's going to be really good, guys. That's going to be so tasty. Got some beautiful juicy tomatoes. I don't measure spices. You can if you want to. I'll link the recipe below for the folks who are recipe followers. I also I swapped garlic for onion powder because that's what I had. I think it's fine. Smoked paprika. This is a ingredient that really builds the smokiness and the flavor. I definitely would not skip that. Even if you have to make a special trip, I would go to the store, get smoked paprika, not just the regular. It adds a lot to the flavor. Okay, a little bit of chili pepper. Okay, so garlic is in the pan, that's simmering, potatoes are almost done. We're about ready to roll our burritos. But before we do that, I'm gonna attempt making this cashew sauce. Of course, I don't have cashews, so we're just gonna use tahini, and I think that will be good enough. So this requires 2 tablespoons of cashew butter. We need the juice of half of a lime. Just going to roll it out here to make it a little bit easier to juice. Okay, it calls for cashew butter, half a lime, onion powder, garlic powder, hot sauce to taste. So let's have some hot sauce. Some of this habanero sauce, which is quite hot, so I'm just going to use a little. It's probably more than enough. wrap them in parchment paper. I am not sure how well the parchment paper is going to hold in the freezer, so I'm going to put mainly the aluminum foil ones in the freezer because that was what the recipe said online was the best way to freeze them. And I think I'm going to leave maybe 4, 5, 6 out. And those ones are going to go in the fridge and they'll be for breakfast this week. And these will go in the freezer for a future meal. Woohoo! These ones are the ones I'm going to keep out for this week. Storing them in my stasher bag. If you've not heard of these, they are so awesome. They're reusable bags that you could use in place of Ziploc bags, but they do honestly so much more. You could pour boiling water into these if you had a dehydrated something that needed rehydrating. You can put things in the microwave in these bags. You can freeze in these bags. They are like your all around, can do way more than a Ziploc bag kind of a thing. They're a little bit of an investment, but I'm telling you, get 1 or 2 at a time. Next time you're in a store like Target or Home Goods or whatever, you won't regret it. They are infinitely useful. And in the long run, having a set of stasher bags will probably save you money because you won't have to make Ziploc bags. So these, if I had another one of these super big stasher bags, I probably would put my frozen ones in a stasher bag too, because that would help keep the freezer burn off. These work really, really well as freezer bags, but I use them so often, they never make it to the freezer. I use them just every day, every single day. Good morning. It is the next day. Those breakfast burritos took way longer to cook than what I thought, but I'm glad I pushed through it because they were so tasty. I may have sampled one for dinner, but I'm sure you understand, in a busy household, other things are priorities sometimes. So we're back at it this morning. We're going to get started on the blueberry muffin tops. This is a kid-friendly, toddler-friendly recipe with simple, healthy ingredients that you can enjoy as well as your little ones. The first ingredient that we need for that is oat flour. So I'm going to get my food processor out so we can make some oat flour. Quickly before we get started, I got this recipe from Plant-Based Juniors. I get a lot of my kid-friendly, baby-friendly recipes from there. I will link it in the description box below. For this we're going to need oat flour, baking soda, baking powder, salt, whatever milk that you like to use. I'm trying to use up this oat milk because someone refuses to drink it. Maple syrup, which you can choose to use. I'm going to omit it for this recipe because of the age of my little one. Vanilla, blueberries, and chopped walnuts. I got this big bag of oats at Costco. I haven't tried it before, but it looks pretty impressive. It's got all the things you like to see, organic, sprouted, Someone tell me in the comments below. Does that make oats healthier? I have no idea. Alright, again I'm doubling this recipe just to save us on time. If we're gonna cook, do it up. So I need 2 3/3 cup of oat flour to double the recipe. There you go. 2 2/3, slight mess. Alright, I'm gonna get this cleaned up and then we'll get started on our next step of our process. I thought about it again, and while I have the food processor out, it makes sense for me to crush up these walnut pieces. The walnut pieces I have are not huge, but for smaller children, whole nuts can be a choking hazard, so I'm just going to grind them up just to make it that much more safe. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Don't want to turn them into nut butter, so we'll stop grinding them there. Alright, so maybe this should just be like a disclaimer of this recipe. Get all your dirty tasks done first, and then you can have a clean kitchen. Alright, I don't have a lemon crusher, I wish I did, but this is what I found to keep the seeds out of your lemon juice, is to just use a strainer over a little bowl and just juice your lemon into that. This recipe calls for a tablespoon of lemon juice, so I'm just going to juice 1 whole large lemon, and that should be plenty. So now we have all of our ingredients. Got my oat flour in the bowl, and I put the extra in a jar that I can save for later. Our chopped walnuts, which are more like ground or pureed for me. Some frozen berries. I used a mix of berries, but you can use just blueberries, strawberries, whatever you and your family like. Lemon juice. We've got our oat milk, baking soda, baking powder, salt, vanilla, and a neutral oil. Alright, let's do this. Still early. It's still early, and got a few minutes until we've got to do morning routine stuff. Okay, so we've got 2 2/3 cup of flour in our bowl. Now I'm going to add baking soda and baking powder, a 1/2 teaspoon of each, but because I'm doubling the recipe, I'm going to do 1 teaspoon. Okay, so 1 teaspoon each of baking soda, and this is baking powder. separate bowl, whisk together a half a cup of milk of choice, a tablespoon of lemon juice, 3 tablespoons of oil. Okay, and vanilla. So we need a wet bowl. All of it too. I'm going to just transfer the berries out of there. Alright. So we're going to put 1 cup of oat milk. And this is almost done, so I'm just going to finish it. A tablespoon of lemon juice. If you never made a recipe like this before, mixing your plant milk with a lemon juice changes the texture of it, makes it a little bit sour, almost like a buttermilk. Okay, this is 6 tablespoons of oil. You can use whatever type of neutral oil you prefer. Some vanilla. Whisk together your wet ingredients, pour your wet into your dry. Let sit for 10 minutes to thicken.
Time to tell you what's been on my mind. Please, you make me feel high.
Oh, this smells really good. And I know I opted not to add any maple sugar or maple syrup or extra sugar, but the oat milk does have some sweetness in it, and there's just some natural sweetness in the other ingredients, including the berries. So it smells amazing. I'm excited.
I'm different now. I keep all my secrets buried underground. I know you don't let anything go easy. And if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to see you one more time to tell you what's been on my mind. Please, you make me feel high, like you don't even care. You make love so high, like I'm not even there.
Early morning is supposed to be my new thing. One of the things that I've noticed is that when you've got a busy household and a young toddler, before they wake up in the morning, pretty much the only time you can get big projects done. This last recipe is super simple. All we have to do is roast our sweet potatoes in the oven for about 45 minutes, and then we top them with all of our toppings. I'm going to, I think, split these potatoes in half so they cook even faster, because, you know, we got limited time. So let me grab our baking sheets out and get myself a cup of coffee, and we'll be ready to go. Okay, let's do this. I'm not going to do too much with these potatoes. I'm pretty much just going to scrub them really good. I'm not going to bother to peel them or anything. And then we're going to stick them in the oven. Again, I'm just going to use my silicone baking mats. It avoids having to do any extra steps. Aluminum foil, oil in the pan, whatever. You just throw it on there. And we're gonna bake for 45 minutes. Alright, let's give it a try. This is it. This is a great, delicious breakfast. Try out this burrito. Now, if I was taking this to go in my car, I'd probably re-wrap it like this. Oh, no, this is good. This is the spot. Thanks getting up early to do those morning chores. No problem at all. Alright friends, gonna end it here. If Thank you so much for sharing your time with me today. I appreciate you so much.
Working on these breakfast meals together these past few mornings has been so fun. I think they all came out super tasty and will be easy to pull together on those busy weekday mornings. If you enjoyed this video, I'll link another one of my cooking videos in the description.
I made another video on vegan meal prep where I make a Moroccan lentil stew, and we made some carrot beet applesauce for the little one. I will link that in the description box below and in the cards if you'd like to check that out.
See you in the next one. Bye.